Trans people are easy targets because not everybody can look up or has the wherewithal or want to look up all of the information when it comes to trans people, and most people aren't good enough at locating information to be able to figure out if they're listening to somebody who's actually an expert on trans issues or somebody who's a grifter who is just trying to make money off of Republicans wanting to hear somebody like Blair White talk bad about trans people. Alrighty, so, guys, you know, isn't it fairly funny? Isn't it hilarious even? Isn't it wondrous that conservatives have managed to convince people of this awkward grift, that they are in fact the ones who are doing everything in their power to protect children? You know, they're definitely the ones doing that. Meanwhile, we have this lovely bill in Florida we're going to be talking about where it's now okay to kidnap trans kids. Because that's normal. Or we've got this other person to talk about in Montana that admitted that they'd rather watch their kid kill themselves than provide gender-affirming care for their child. You know, this is definitely the people that you want in charge of your children. They definitely have their best interest at heart. Believe me, trust me, they said it themselves. Meanwhile, let's get to the fan art section now that I've dropped all that on you so we can engage in a more different form of trauma dumping. The very first piece of fan art we have today comes from Shimo Kagami. First bit of fan art, finally done. Shut up and take our money and support. I am not going to say the next part because those are war words and they make me crave violence. So we're not going to do that. I'm also somewhat tired of how this monitor has been looking, so I'm gonna go ahead and a little better on my end. There we go. Nothing bad ever happens in the city. Nothing bad ever happens. Why can I not get it to stop fucking up? Good enough. Good enough. Darn cooldown, ruined timing. Signed around. Thank you for redeeming your points for an you fucking degen. The next piece of fan art we have, now that I'm done looking at this one that makes me hate life and every decision I've ever made because there's a lot of neck coins here. Vanguard Christie. Here, having Owo neck coin. First time drawing in years, and with a mouse. Hopefully you like it. Please. Please stop. Please fucking stop. All of you. These fucking coins. I'm tired, and all I want to do is go and I want to find a short bridge that I can sprain my ankle off of. That's where I'm at now. Because of you. Because of all of you. Stop. Please. Anyways, as always, everybody, thank you for your fan art submissions. Let's get into the content stuff. Subscribe. And all the other things I'm supposed to say at the beginning, like go to Patreon and stop sending me coins and consider all of your life choices. They were all mistakes. Those things! Those are things I'm supposed to talk about, right? Yeah. That doesn't make me tired. That doesn't make me crave violence. Oy. Anywho. So, this is the first thing I want to talk about. Let's take a listen.
Without surgery, the risk of suicide goes way up. Well, I am one of those parents who lived with a daughter who was suicidal for 3 years. Someone once asked me, wouldn't I just do anything
to load? Wouldn't I just want to do anything to load?
Suicidal for 3 years. Someone once asked me, wouldn't I just do anything to help save her? And I really had to think. And the answer was no. Without...
So, context. It is a politician admitting that surgery does, in fact, increase the chances that somebody will not do the suicide thing if they are trans. You know, trans-affirming healthcare. Mind, surgery is not what we use for minors, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And she says that, oh, but even knowing that, I would rather the child be dead. I would rather the person die than give them trans-affirming health. Even if I knew it would increase the chance that they would live, I would rather them just fucking die. And if you don't believe that's what she's saying, please play the clip again. These are people that should not be parents. Moreover, they should not be politicians. They should not have any amount of power over their own children or anybody else's children. But don't worry, guys. That's not all we're going to be talking about. Because this isn't the only way in which politicians are deciding that your kids are definitely important enough for them to want to die. Florida House of Representatives passed a bill on Wednesday that would let the state take transgender minors away from their families if they are receiving gender-affirming care. Remember, they'd rather your kids just be fucking dead anyway, but, you know. The measure was passed by a vote of 82 to 31. A previous version of the bill passed the Senate earlier this month with a vote of 27 to 12. And the amended version now goes back to the other chambers for a final vote. Governor Ron DeSantis has expressed support for the bill and will likely sign it into law if it passes. If it becomes law, the bill will allow the state to take custody of a child if they have been subjected to or are threatened with being subjected to gender-affirming care, which includes puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy. Florida courts could modify custody agreements from a different state if the minor is likely to receive gender-affirming care in that second state. The text refers to gender-affirming care as sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures, and qualifies this care as a form of physical harm, which, you know, is completely against the professional work of multiple medical professionals in the fields of child psychology and also just, you know, most medical fields in general. So I'm just going to say this. This is a thing that's probably going to be TOS. Probably going to be dangerous for my channel, but I am an advocate for self-defense. I believe self-defense is an important thing, and I believe self-defense of your children is also important. Make of that what you will. Anywho, medical facilities would have to give the State Department of Health a signed attestation that they neither provide gender-affirming care to patients nor refer people to providers that do. Their medical license renewal is contingent upon sending in this attestation. Medicaid funds could not be used to pay for gender-affirming care, even though the majority of people do not use Medicaid for such treatments. Minors who have already begun transitioning will be allowed to continue to do so, but they are no longer allowed to receive care via telehealth, including for prescriptions. Ah, yes, if you're already on the procedures that you would need to be using, like puberty blockers and potentially hormone therapy, don't worry, nothing is changing for you, except we're going to make it really inconvenient for you to fucking exist. Yay! I love 2023. The doctors have to tell you about the, quote, risks of gender-affirming care, and patients will have to sign an informed consent form, which the ACLU has pointed out that often contains misinformation. Doctors who violate any of these new rules would be charged with a felony. They said, we're supposed to be working on keeping Floridians healthy, safe, and prosperous. We are not supposed to be here to pass ambiguous bills to take away a child's ability to be healthy and safe, said Democrat Rita Harris during the debate. Florida ranks 40th in healthcare for children. You want to protect children? And yet, here we are, taking away healthcare from children. Yeah, that's certainly a thing you're doing. Republicans across the country have been introducing bills to target gender-affirming care, insisting that by doing so, they're protecting kids. Yeah, protecting kids.
Without surgery, the risk of suicide goes way up. Well, I am one of those parents who lived with a daughter who was suicidal for 3 years. Someone once asked me, wouldn't I just do anything to help save her? And I really had to think. And the answer was no.
Don't worry, they are definitely, 100% trying to protect kids. Definitely. Definitely, that's the thing they're doing. Instead, lawmakers are criminalizing LGBTQ people of all ages and putting them at risk of real harm. Florida seems to be leading the charge. Republicans have introduced bill after bill targeting LGBTQ people and openly admitting that their goal is to erase the community from existence, which we already covered in a previous video. A little more than an hour earlier, the House passed a bill banning drag performances, which heads to DeSantis' desk, which you know exactly what he's going to be doing. So let's go ahead and make a couple things really clear here. The purpose here is to be cruel. The purpose here is to harm these people. Why is harming trans people important? Well, simple. They're easy targets. Not everybody knows everything about trans healthcare, about the implications of people being trans in sports, about how puberty blockers literally solves every fucking problem you have with trans people in sports from the fucking get-go. You absolute morons. It's as if the actual answers to your problems are completely ignored because you just want to fucking cry. But, you know, that's just me. That's just my opinion. The point is that engaging with these needlessly cruel bills gets votes because Republican voters have been primed to respond to this needless and senseless cruelty. This type of behavior is seen as wanted. There were cheers all across the country from Republican constituents when trans people were banned from the United States military, and conversations are still had today about how trans people shouldn't be in the military, despite it being one of the easiest avenues they have to access gender-affirming care. The point is the cruelty. The point will always be the cruelty, because the cruelty is what sells. The cruelty is the marketing ploy. The cruelty is what guarantees the votes, and the votes are what guarantees the dollars from just being a politician, which is a very lucrative thing to do if you are in the House and the Senate, but also the dollars you get from lobbyists and think tanks that desperately want to continue this cycle of, let's go ahead and call it what it is, violence. It's greed. It's always been greed, and it will always be greed. The votes make power happen. Power makes money happen. Money makes power compound, and that's where we are. That's where we will always be. Said greed and straight up sadism. Oh no, chat didn't freeze. It's capturing things that Lord Christoph says. It's just not capturing the things you're saying, Anubian, because it's a lot of things back, like close together. It's just not capturing those, I don't think. But these are the people that are willing to go on record and state that they would rather people die than exist as trans. But don't worry, these are the people who have your children's best interest at heart. Trust me. Trust them. Trust their system. They definitely know what they're doing. There are more bills against trans people in 2023 than there are days in the year so far. We have been seeing more bills release per day. And there should not be multiple bills per fucking day, but there are. It's a constant thing. It is a constant problem. And yet, we're going to continue to see it over and over and over again, because it is the current Republican strategy. It is the strategy that, quite frankly, for the time being, works. And I hate that. I hate that it works. I hate that it's effective. But it is. And it will continue to be so. Trans people are easy targets because not everybody can look up or has the wherewithal or want to look up all of the information when it comes to trans people, and most people aren't good enough at locating information to be able to figure out if they're listening to somebody who's actually an expert on trans issues or somebody who's a grifter who is just trying to make money off of Republicans wanting to hear somebody like Blair White talk bad about trans people. That one person who's gone viral on TikTok, the blonde girl, I can't remember her name, but she's a trans girl who has been doing the exact same grift lately, doing the whole, like, I'm not a woman. I'm a trans woman. And that is somehow fundamentally different. And then she'll do the wordplay thing where she'll go biological woman versus trans woman. And then when everybody responds and comments to her going, okay, but you said woman. Trans woman and biological woman, insofar as those concepts are separatable, are just the same thing. If we're talking about what is a woman, they are both women. There's where it be. That's what it is. Let me see if I can find... Can I find that bitch? Can I find that bitch? I'm not going to try to find her stuff. I'm not going to try to find her stuff right now. But people are not going to be able, if they're not deeply entrenched in trans communities, they don't know the difference between information coming from her and Blair White, between information coming from, like, say, Forrest Valkai. They're not going to know the difference. They have no basis to know the difference. They'll listen to the Joe Rogans of the world and take whatever comes off of those podcasts, ignoring the fact that there's not really a good filter on them for misinformation. The average person doesn't know that. The average person just takes in information and leaves it at that. Leaves it how it is. Because of that, they have no way to know, oftentimes, what the misinformation is and what's not. And so, when they hear that trans people are predators from people who they believe to be authorities, they jump on that. They jump on that like a fucking lion onto a carcass. And then they'll do anything to, quote, protect their kids. Meanwhile, the actual words coming from the politicians claiming to protect their kids that literally say, hey, we don't care, it's better that the kids die. They're not going to hear that part. They're just going to hear that somebody has said that they'll protect their kids. And they'll jump on any information because they have no way to filter it. And it's sad. But this is where I got to throw it back to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This whole situation is just madness to me, but it is the situation we're in right now. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.